Dead Sea Scrolls Deuteronomy 1Q4 Deuteronomy A. Language, Hebrew. Date, before 68 AD. Location, Qumran Cave 1. Deuteronomy 1. 22 You came near to me, every one of you, and said, Let's send men before us, that they may search the land for us, and bring back to us word of the way by which we must go up, and the cities to which we shall come. 23 The thing pleased me well. I took 12 of your men, 1 man for every tribe. 24 They turned and went up into the hill country, and came to the valley of Eshcol, and spied out the land. 25 They took some of the fruit of the land in their hands, and brought it down to us, and brought us word again, and said, It is a good land which Yahweh our God gives to us. Deuteronomy 4. 47 They took his land in possession, and the land of Og king of Bashan, the 2 kings of the Amorites, who were beyond the Jordan toward the sunrise. 49 And all the Arabah under the slopes of Pisgah. Deuteronomy 8. 18 But you shall remember Yahweh your God, for it is he who gives you power to get wealth, that he may establish his covenant which he swore to your fathers, as it is today. 19 It shall be, if you shall forget Yahweh your God, and walk after other gods, and serve them, and worship them, I testify against you today that you shall surely perish. Deuteronomy 9. 27 Remember your servants, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Don't look at the stubbornness of this people, nor at their wickedness, nor at their sin. 28 Lest the land you brought us out from say, because Yahweh was not able to bring them into the land which he promised to them, and because he hated them, he has brought them out to kill them in the wilderness. Deuteronomy 11, 27 The blessing, if you listen to the commandments of Yahweh your God, which I command you today. 28 And the curse, if you do not listen to the commandments of Yahweh your God, but turn away out of the way which I command you today, to go after other gods, which you have not known. 29 It shall happen, when Yahweh your God brings you into the land where you go to possess it, that you shall set the blessing on Mount Gerizim, and the curse on Mount Ebal. 30 Aren't they beyond the Jordan, behind the way of the going down of the sun, in the land of the Canaanites who dwell in the Arabah, near Gilgal, beside the oaks of Moreh? Deuteronomy 12. 32 Whatever thing I command you, that you shall observe to do. You shall not add to it, nor take away from it. Deuteronomy 13. 1 If a prophet or a dreamer of dreams arises among you, and he gives you a sign or a wonder. 2 And the sign or the wonder comes to pass, of which he spoke to you, saying, Let's go after other gods, which you have not known, and let's serve them. 3 You shall not listen to the words of that prophet, or to that dreamer of dreams, for Yahweh your God is testing you, to know whether you love Yahweh your God with all your heart and with all your soul. For you shall walk after Yahweh your God, serve him, obey his voice and cling to him, fear him and keep his commandments. 5 That prophet, or that dreamer of dreams, shall be put to death, because he has spoken rebellion against Yahweh your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt and redeemed you out of the house of bondage, to draw you aside out of the way which Yahweh your God commanded you to walk in. So you shall remove the evil from among you. 6 If your brother, the son of your mother, or your son, or your daughter, or the wife of your bosom, or your friend, who is as your own soul, entices you secretly, saying, Let's go and serve other gods, which you have not known, you, nor your fathers. 12 If you shall hear about one of your cities, which Yahweh your God gives you to dwell there, that 13 Certain wicked fellows have gone out from among you, and have drawn away the inhabitants of their city, saying, Let's go and serve other gods, which you have not known. Deuteronomy 14, 21 You shall not eat of anything that dies of itself. You may give it to the foreigner living among you who is within your gates, that he may eat it, or you may sell it to a foreigner, for you are a holy people to Yahweh your God. You shall not boil a young goat in its mother's milk. 22 You shall surely tithe all the increase of your seed, that which comes out of the field year by year. 23 You shall eat before Yahweh your God, in the place which he chooses, to cause his name to dwell there, the tithe of your grain, of your new wine, and of your oil, and the firstborn of your herd and of your flock, that you may learn to fear Yahweh your God always. 24 If the way is too long for you, so that you are not able to carry it, because the place is too far from you, which Yahweh your God shall choose, to set his name there, when Yahweh your God shall bless you. 25 Then you shall turn it into money, and bind up the money in your hand, and shall go to the place which Yahweh your God shall choose. 26 You shall trade the money for whatever your soul desires, for cattle, or for sheep, or for wine, or for strong drink, or for whatever your soul asks of you, and you shall eat there before Yahweh your God, and you shall rejoice, you and your household. Deuteronomy 16. For no yeast shall be seen with you in all your borders 7 days, neither shall any of the meat, which you sacrifice the first day at evening, remain all night until the morning. 6 But at the place which Yahweh your God shall choose, to cause his name to dwell in, there you shall sacrifice the Passover at evening, at the going down of the sun, at the season that you came out of Egypt. 7 You shall roast and eat it in the place which Yahweh your God chooses. In the morning you shall return to your tents. Deuteronomy 31. 19 Now therefore write this song for yourselves, and teach it to the children of Israel. Put it in their mouths, that this song may be a witness for me against the children of Israel. 20 For when I have brought them into the land which I swore to their fathers, flowing with milk and honey, and they have eaten and filled themselves, and grown fat, then they will turn to other gods, and serve them, and despise me, and break my covenant. 1q5 Deuteronomy B. Language, Hebrew. Date, before 68 AD. Location, Qumran Cave 1. Deuteronomy 1. 9 I spoke to you at that time, saying, I am not able to bear you myself alone. 11 Yahweh, the God of your fathers, make you 1,000 times as many as you are, and bless you, as he has promised you. 13 Take wise men of understanding and well known according to your tribes, and I will make them heads over you. Deuteronomy 8. 8 A land of wheat and barley, and vines and fig trees and pomegranates, a land of olive trees and honey. 9 A land in which you shall eat bread without scarceness, you shall not lack anything in it, a land whose stones are iron, and out of whose hills you may dig copper. Deuteronomy 9. 10 Yahweh delivered to me the 2 stone tablets written with God's finger. On them were all the words which Yahweh spoke with you on the mountain out of the middle of the fire in the day of the assembly. Deuteronomy 11. 30 Aren't they beyond the Jordan, behind the way of the going down of the sun, in the land of the Canaanites who dwell in the Arabah, near Gilgal, beside the oaks of Moreh? 31 For you are to pass over the Jordan to go and to possess the land which Yahweh your God gives you, and you shall possess it, and dwell therein. Deuteronomy 15. 14 You shall furnish him liberally out of your flock, out of your threshing floor, and out of your winepress. As the Lord your God has blessed you, you shall give to him. 15 You shall remember that you were a slave in the land of Egypt, and Yahweh your God redeemed you. Therefore I command you to do this thing today. Deuteronomy 17. 16 Only he shall not multiply horses to himself, nor cause the people to return to Egypt, to the end that he may multiply horses, because Yahweh has said to you, you shall not go back that way again. 17 He shall not multiply wives to himself, that his heart not turn away. He shall not greatly multiply to himself silver and gold. Deuteronomy 21. 8 Forgive, Yahweh, your people Israel, whom you have redeemed, and don't allow innocent blood among your people Israel. The blood shall be forgiven them. 9 So you shall put away the innocent blood from among you, when you shall do that which is right in Yahweh's eyes. 10 When you go out to battle against your enemies, and Yahweh your God delivers them into your hands, and you carry them away captive. Deuteronomy 24. 10 When you lend your neighbor any kind of loan, you shall not go into his house to get his pledge. 11 You shall stand outside, and the man to whom you lend shall bring the pledge outside to you. 13 You shall surely restore to him the pledge when the sun goes down, that he may sleep in his garment, and bless you. It shall be righteousness to you before Yahweh your God. 14 You shall not oppress a hired servant who is poor and needy, whether he is one of your brothers, or one of the foreigners who are in your land within your gates. 15 In his day you shall give him his hire, neither shall the sun go down on it, for he is poor, and sets his heart on it, lest he cry against you to Yahweh, and it be sin to you. 16 The fathers shall not be put to death for the children, neither shall the children be put to death for the fathers. Every man shall be put to death for his own sin. Deuteronomy 25. 13 You shall not have in your bag diverse weights, one heavy and one light. 15 You shall have a perfect and just weight. You shall have a perfect and just measure, that your days may be long in the land which Yahweh your God gives you. 16 For all who do such things, all who do unrighteously, are an abomination to Yahweh your God. 18 How he met you by the way, and struck the rearmost of you, all who were feeble behind you, when you were faint and weary, and he didn't fear God. Deuteronomy 28. 44 He will lend to you, and you won't lend to him. He will be the head, and you will be the tail. 45 All these curses will come on you, and will pursue you, and overtake you, until you are destroyed, because you didn't listen to Yahweh your God's voice, to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded you. 46 They will be for a sign and for a wonder to you and to your offspring forever. 47 Because you didn't serve Yahweh your God with joyfulness, and with gladness of heart, by reason of the abundance of all things. 48 Therefore you will serve your enemies whom Yahweh sends against you, in hunger, in thirst, in nakedness, and in lack of all things. He will put an iron yoke on your neck, until he has destroyed you. Deuteronomy 29. 10 All of you stand today in the presence of Yahweh your God, your heads, your tribes, your elders, and your officers, even all the men of Israel. 11 Your little ones, and your wives, and the foreigners who are in the middle of your camps, from the one who cuts your wood to the one who draws your water. 12 That you may enter into the covenant of Yahweh your God, and into his oath, which Yahweh your God makes with you today. 13 That he may establish you today as his people, and that he may be your God, as he spoke to you, and as he swore to your fathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob. 14 Neither do I make this covenant and this oath with you only, 15 But with those here with us before Yahweh our God, and also with those who are not here with us today. 16 For you know how we lived in the land of Egypt, and how we came through the middle of the nations through which you passed. 17 And you have seen their abominations, and their idols, wood and stone, silver and gold, which were among them. 18 Lest there should be among you man, woman, family, or tribe whose heart turns away today from Yahweh our God, to go to serve the gods of those nations, lest there should be among you a root that produces bitter poison. 19 And it happen, when he hears the words of this curse, that he bless himself in his heart, saying, I shall have peace, though I walk in the stubbornness of my heart, to destroy the moist with the dry. 20 Yahweh will not pardon him, but then Yahweh's anger and his jealousy will smoke against that man, and all the curse that is written in this book will fall on him, and Yahweh will blot out his name from under the sky. 21 Yahweh will set him apart for evil out of all the tribes of Israel, according to all the curses of the covenant that is written in this book of the law. Deuteronomy 30. 19 I call heaven and earth to witness against you today, that I have set before you life and death, the blessing and the curse. Therefore choose life, that you may live, you and your descendants. 20 To love Yahweh your God, to obey his voice, and to cling to him, for he is your life, and the length of your days, that you may dwell in the land which Yahweh swore to your fathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, to give them. Deuteronomy 31. 1 Moses finished speaking all these words to all Israel. 2 He said to them, I am 120 years old today. I can no more go out and come in. Yahweh has said to me, You shall not go over this Jordan. 3 Yahweh your God himself will go over before you. He will destroy these nations from before you, and you shall dispossess them. Joshua will go over before you, as Yahweh has spoken. For Yahweh will do to them as he did to Sihon and to Og, the kings of the Amorites, and to their land, whom he destroyed. 5 Yahweh will deliver them up before you, and you shall do to them according to all the commandment which I have commanded you. 6 Be strong and courageous. Don't be afraid or scared of them, for Yahweh your God himself is who goes with you. He will not fail you nor forsake you. 7 Moses called to Joshua, and said to him in the sight of all Israel, Be strong and courageous, for you shall go with this people into the land which Yahweh has sworn to their fathers to give them, and you shall cause them to inherit it. 8 Yahweh himself is who goes before you. He will be with you. He will not fail you nor forsake you. Don't be afraid. Don't be discouraged. 9 Moses wrote this law, and delivered it to the priests the sons of Levi, who bore the ark of Yahweh's covenant, and to all the elders of Israel. 10 Moses commanded them, saying, at the end of every 7 years, in the set time of the year of release, in the Feast of Tents. 12 Assemble the people, the men and the women and the little ones, and the foreigners who are within your gates, that they may hear, and that they may learn, and fear Yahweh your God, and observe to do all the words of this law. 13 And that their children, who have not known, may hear, and learn to fear Yahweh your God, as long as you live in the land where you go over the Jordan to possess it. Deuteronomy 32:17 They sacrificed to demons, not God, to gods that they didn't know, to new gods that came up recently, which your fathers didn't dread. 19 Yahweh saw and abhorred, because of the provocation of his sons and his daughters. 20 He said, I will hide my face from them. I will see what their end will be, for they are a very perverse generation, children in whom is no faithfulness. 21 They have moved me to jealousy with that which is not God. They have provoked me to anger with their vanities. I will move them to jealousy with those who are not a people. I will provoke them to anger with a foolish nation. 22 For a fire is kindled in my anger, that burns to the lowest Sheol, devours the earth with its increase, and sets the foundations of the mountains on fire. 24 They shall be wasted with hunger, and devoured with burning heat and bitter destruction. I will send the teeth of animals on them, with the venom of vipers that glide in the dust. 25 Outside the sword will bereave, and in the rooms, terror, on both young man and virgin, the nursing infant with the gray-haired man. 26 I said that I would scatter them afar. I would make their memory to cease from among men. 27 Were it not that I feared the provocation of the enemy, lest their adversaries should judge wrongly, lest they should say, Our hand is exalted. The Lord has not done all this. 29 Oh that they were wise, that they understood this, that they would consider their latter end. Deuteronomy 33:12 About Benjamin he said, The beloved of Yahweh will dwell in safety by him. He covers him all day long. He dwells between his shoulders. 13 About Joseph he said, His land is blessed by Yahweh, for the precious things of the heavens, for the dew, for the deep that couches beneath. 14 For the precious things of the fruits of the sun, for the precious things that the moon can yield. 16 For the precious things of the earth and its fullness, the goodwill of him who lived in the bush. Let this come on the head of Joseph, on the crown of the head of him who was separated from his brothers. 17 The firstborn of he herd, majesty is his. His horns are the horns of the wild ox. With them he will push all the peoples, to the ends of the earth. They are the 10,000s of Ephraim. They are the thousands of Manasseh. 18 About Zebulun he said, Rejoice, Zebulun, in your going out, and Issachar, in your tents. 19 They will call the peoples to the mountain. There they will offer sacrifices of righteousness, for they will draw out the abundance of the seas, the hidden treasures of the sand. 21 He provided the first part for himself, for the lawgiver's portion was reserved for him. He came with the heads of the people. He executed the righteousness of Yahweh, his ordinances with Israel. 22 About Dan he said, Dan is a lion's cub that leaps out of Bashan. 23 About Naphtali he said, Naphtali, satisfied with favor, full of Yahweh's blessing, possessed the west and the south. 24 About Asher he said, Asher is blessed with children. Let him be acceptable to his brothers. Let him dip his foot in oil.